What's up, guys? Ryan here from Mud Gunner. Today I'm joined with my buddy Mason, and he's been on the channel a few times. He wanted to talk about smoke grenades, flashbangs, stuff like that, and I was like, yeah, let's go for it. So what do you got here?
So there's a couple different types. I'm going to try and make this brief because, you know, we do some short videos, right? So some of these are, of course, dummy grenades. Obviously, guys, this is not a real M67 fragmentation grenade. That would be crazy. It's just the shell that, well, it'd be sick, but I don't have the licenses for that, right?
They'd be kicking down the door right now.
There is actually a way as a civilian that you can own real live frag grenades, but it takes many years and many thousands of dollars, so I wouldn't recommend it. But yeah, it's a hollowed out thing, but it's here for display and to mention. So kind of just starting from left to right, obviously this is a dummy M67 fragmentation grenade. This is the current Army issued fragmentation grenade. It's real simple. You just pull the pin, hold the spoon down. When you move your thumb, spoon flips out. Throw the grenade. You got 7 seconds, or you're supposed to have 7 seconds anyway, before it goes off. You use these for assaulting enemy positions and stuff. Now, as a civilian in a defensive situation, obviously this is not relevant to us, right? Not
Unless
right
you're
now.
Fighting the HOA.
Yeah. Well, hey, man. HOA's got frag grenades. Don't worry about it. Now, a little more fun. This is an airsoft fragmentation grenade. So it still has a pin, and there's still a little fuse inside of it. You pull it, throw it, and you have 3 seconds. At the end of that 3 seconds, this little cardboard grenade explodes and airsoft BBs shoot out everywhere. Yeah. Not enough to like severely hurt you. I've had these detonate on me before. They hurt, obviously, but not a ton. You do, of course, have to wear like eye protection if you're employing these in an airsoft game or something like that. But they're really cool trainers if you like want to kind of get that full experience of like, hey man, let's just go out, do some LARPing with the boys or whatever. These things are awesome for that. They're fun.
Cool. I want to check one of these.
Yeah, absolutely, dude. I'll get a bunch more. This is from a company called Enola Gay, which makes them specifically for airsoft. We're going to actually revisit that company when we get a little further down the list. This, again, not live anymore, right? This is just the shell, a very old shell that is no longer live or you know, relevant in any way. This is a military-issued smoke grenade. This is an M83 smoke grenade. This was white smoke. You can tell by the color that is on the top of it. If you guys ever come across these things like out in the desert or in the wild, you know, just be careful because it's still considered an unexploded ordnance. You never want to pick these things up or handle them if you don't know the condition of them. But this is what we use in the military for signaling. Obviously, there's a ton of different reasons you can use them. You can use them for concealment, not cover, but you can use them for concealment because it can hide your movement. And then you can also use them for signaling. They come in a lot of different colors. I've seen red, purple, green. Red's my favorite just because, you know, it's my favorite color. Cool. But this is white, of course. So there's a lot of good reasons to use these things. And even as a civilian, there's a lot of good reasons to use them. You're just not going to be able to find, of course, the exact military issued ones. But there are companies that make very similar things that you can just buy. Anyone can just kind of buy these.
I have one. My buddy gave it to me. The warranty expired in 1997, but it says it pushes out 250,000 cubic feet of dense white smoke.
Yep.
And it's still wrapped in the plastic. It's like twice the size of that, but it says it expired in 97. So
it's probably, I guarantee it'll still work, man.
Oh, probably.
We're still using grenades from like NAM and stuff like that. What you just want to keep in mind though, when you talk about smoke grenades, especially things that were potentially government smoke grenades, there was a period of time when our smoke grenades used white phosphorus to make the smoke. White phosphorus is very, very dangerous. If you breathe it in, it will burn your lungs. If you get it on your skin, it will burn your skin. It's actually against the Geneva Convention for us to use white phosphorus against people because it's considered like unusually inhumane way to die. It just comes out like thick white smoke, but if you breathe it in, it will literally burn your lungs and kill you from the inside. Probably not something that you would ever have to worry about, but just a heads up, that's why I said like if you find these things in the desert, don't play with them, don't mess with them. Let local law enforcement know, and they'll probably contact the National Guard if you're in Arizona or other states, and then some poor National Guard EOD technician is going to have to go out there and check it out. But, you know, that's what they get paid for.
Or I see the magnet fishing videos.
Yeah, people find. Now, I mean, I would be a lot less concerned about that because the chances that it's still going to explode in any way after it's been underwater for
well, they find the other live ordnance, though.
Yeah, those are actually really cool videos, and I follow a dude that does World War II ones.
Nice.
Where he just goes and he finds like full-on MG42 machine guns in rivers in France and stuff. So.
Okay.
It's really cool. I wish. He's living my dream, right? But obviously there's no MG42s in rivers here that I know of. But yeah, smoke grenades, cool, right? The smoke comes out the bottom, by the way. That's pretty standard for most of these things. I'm actually going to switch the order of this a little bit just to keep it relevant.
Sure.
So this is that Enola Gay company I mentioned before. This is a civilian legal. You can go to like a surplus store to buy them. You can buy them online. You just have to pay a hazardous shipping fee because they are some kind of pyrotechnic. Same thing as like fireworks, basically.
It's like 30 to 50 bucks depending. I've ordered
flashbangs.
flashbangs.
So if you're going to do it, I'd either get a group of people or save up when you know you want to buy them in bulk, right? They are still operated by pins, which is really cool, so you don't have to take like a lighter and light a fuse. You pull the pin sideways away from you, and you throw it, and it creates a pretty big cloud of smoke for about like 30 to 45 seconds. The military ones will do anywhere from like a minute to 3 minutes, depending on the type of grenade and size. So you don't get as much, but these actually work really well, and they're the closest thing that I found in the regular world to a military-issued smoke grenade. Now, why would you want to have these other than that it's pretty neat to be able to throw smoke? If you play airsoft and stuff like that, of course, you know, they'll use these kind of things for military simulation and stuff.
Left 4 Dead, you got to signal the helicopter.
Yeah, exactly. But as a civilian, that leads me right into it, signaling. These things are awesome if you get stranded somewhere and you need someone to find you. Pop a smoke grenade, throw it a safe distance away from you, and that smoke will be seen from really far away, guys, especially if you pick a color that's really noticeable. Like this is pink. They're going to see giant pink smoke, giant red smoke, green smoke. They come in all those colors. White smoke, they might think it's a fire, which, you know, if you're dying, I guess, you know, they might still help you.
Yeah.
But of course, for all the Arizona people here, do not use these in the desert when you are not legally allowed to do so. If there's a fire ban or a warning, they do make fire, and you can absolutely light things on fire with this and with military.
Kill yourself with fire trying to ask for help.
Yeah, well, right, that would be bad, right? So obviously, do not use these things when there's like a fire ban or anything in place. It's very bad. Don't do that. But if it's an emergency and it's either that or die, these are good signaling devices that you can use them for.
And what's crazy is people actually get lost out here and die in the desert. Like people are found at South Mountain dead. And South Mountain, it's in the middle of a city, so I think it's crazy.
Yeah, you could pick a direction and walk in it, and you would get to civilization. The problem is that they're like, I'm going to hike South Mountain with one water bottle when it's 120 degrees. Like, you got to be kidding me, right?
Yeah.
We'll get into that
all the time in Arizona.
Luckily, we're going to have a very brief desert survival video that I can get to help you out with that. This is the same thing, just smaller. This is really nice because it fits in a pocket. Or I keep like one of these in my truck just as I can use it as a signaling device. Next is kind of more of a purely fun kind of device.
Oh, yeah. Got experience with these.
Yes, this is a Taggin Pro. You actually can't get these in the U.S. anymore because they used to be manufactured by Russia, but it used to be a Russian company, not the Russian government, for airsoft. But they banned them when that whole thing happened. But Taggin was like, yeah, we don't really sell as many of these in Russia as we do in other places, so they're actually moving here. Last I heard, they were making a place in the United States to make them anymore.
You used to be able to
company.
buy these from e-bike.
Yeah.
So that's where I got mine. They come in cases of 6, about like 10 cases. And
absolutely.
I'm down to like my last couple because
they still have versions of these, not the Taggins, but they call them Thunderbees, which use a CO2 cartridge and a plastic body. They actually look more like military grenades, but it's a little more complicated because they're supposed to be reusable, so you keep the head, put a new cylinder on it, and then put a whole new plastic thing on it. These are one-time use. These literally shatter into like 1,000 pieces. They're just made of like cardboard. That's it. So these are really fun to play pranks on your friends and stuff with.
Yeah.
They do actually like make fire though. That's how the fuse works. So you pull the pin out, you'll see a little bit of like fire come out, and I think it's the same thing. You got about 2-second delay. It says it right there. You got a 2-second delay before it goes off. These can be cool for playing pranks on your friends. Maybe don't do that. New Year's, I guess. If you play airsoft, obviously they're good for that. But they are really still super loud. And in an emergency situation, you could absolutely still employ this like you would any kind of distractionary device or flashbang grenade, as a lot of people hear them referred to as. So they're still really cool. They're super loud. Definitely wear ear protection if you're using these things for fun, and maybe really don't use it as a prank on your friends unless they know it's a possibility.
Only downside is they don't throw far because they weigh nothing.
Yeah, these things weigh next to nothing. But they are really cool. Just a fun thing to play with. Now, of course, we're moving on to something really simple. These are just flares. The difference is that these Orion flares are long, they shoot out. So these are solely for like signaling. There's not, I mean, I guess maybe there could be a tactical reason for it, but that is not what we're talking about
we're over here.
Yeah, these are just civilian like flares. The nice thing about these versus road flares though is that they project out, so you can shoot them up in the air. And it's a lot easier for like rescue personnel to see it when it's high up than it is if you just set it on the ground. So they're really good for that. I keep a 2-pack of these in my vehicle as well, just because it's a good way to signal and stay safe.
Also, like boat flares would work the same, right? Because all boat flares are shootable ones.
Oh, I've driven a boat once.
Okay.
I wasn't in the Navy, so I have no idea.
Yeah, I had one that we shot and it went up.
You can get road flares and stuff too, and then those have a place as well. It's just nice to get projectile ones because, again, they shoot up in the air. So yeah, absolutely, boat flares would be good. And then this last thing is a 37 millimeter distractionary device. So it's legal for you as an American citizen to own a 37. Well, at least last I looked up.
You can own 40. It's an
a lot more licensing and stuff like that. But 37 mils, you can just buy them like you buy any gun, any firearm. As long as you're over 18, you can buy them. They shoot these shells like this. This is just a distractionary device. So essentially, it shoots out about They say about 100 meters or so. It's probably more like 70. And then they make a really loud bang. If you're a rancher or you find yourself going on a lot of camping and hiking and you're not really into the lethal side of firearms, these are awesome because it can scare away potential predators. On the ranching side of things, if you hear a bunch of coyotes and you have cattle, or you have sheep and stuff, you can shoot one of these in the general direction of them and it's loud enough that it scares the heck out of them, right? And a lot of times they'll leave. You could use it for perimeter defense. If you hear people coming up on you in the middle of the desert, in the middle of the night or something, shoot one of these up in the air, make really loud noise. They make flares as well if you just need to be able to see. They make smoke grenades if you want to do the same things you do with some of these other grenades we mentioned. So they're actually really cool, fun things to play with. The disadvantage to them is that 37 millimeter rounds are insanely expensive. One of these things is like 25 bucks. Just for one second of shooting and being like, oh, that's cool, bang.
Yeah, that was fun. That was a fun 25 seconds.
Very expensive.
And then what's cool is you can also do weapon-mounted 37 mil launchers.
Yeah.
Handheld 37 mil launchers.
Especially if you're doing like a clone build or something and you want to get that good old-fashioned M16A2 underbarrel grenade launcher thing.
Scar grenade launcher.
Yeah, the shorty Scar one. Yeah, that e-bike website you mentioned earlier, they sell airsoft stuff. They make like airsoft replicas of those launchers and stuff you can put on them too. There's airsoft versions of these rounds that like you fill with BBs and it shoots out. There's also like little Nerf football ones that shoot out that the kids use for airsoft and stuff like that. So a neat, fun thing to play with. But yeah, guys, that's really it. I just wanted to go over very briefly some of this stuff for you and just give you like some realistic use cases for smoke grenades and flares and things that you might potentially
Remember, they're
have
fun.
to use. Yeah, and also there's a fun factor to all this stuff, right? We have some of the stuff that we have because it's fun to use it.
You still can't get in trouble, so don't just go throwing that.
Yeah, know your laws and stuff,
Yeah.
man. And I know the laws of the place that you live in and everything. But yeah, any of the ones we mentioned here, you can just buy usually online. So
Cool. Well, thanks
Sweet.
for talking about this.
yeah,
it's
absolutely,
always
man.
fun. And
Thanks for having me on.
yeah, thank you guys for watching and stay tuned for my next video.